So this madness I feel inside as I recapture her kiss.
They said Gray paved the way, changed the rain, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, German King.
So, hey, I've been gone.
You've been MIA for a little while. What's going on? Talk to us.
All right. So, first things first, thank you for having me back. I thought I was banned for a little bit. I know that there's a punishment coming, as always. But, I think we talked about it before. It's just scheduling. I'm in Central Time. You guys are in Eastern Time. There's an hour difference. I got a little one. You guys got families. There's so much personal stuff going on. It's hard to get everybody situated, and we'll get it one of these days. We're all grown adults, so we got things going on, but we try to jump in here every once in a while. Let me fix my camera a little bit. I won't need everybody seeing my door. But yeah, I'm back as much as I can be. But do we want to talk about why the second member, because I'm really the third, the second member is MIA today?
Well, he kind of let them know, he was going through surgery, so he kind of gave them the "I'll be back when I'll be back." So I mean, they know what it is, man. Everybody wishes him well. Big homie. This is what happens when you get old; your body starts falling apart. And listen, it's all love, but it is what it is. Now I got to ask you, because our first topic is something that actually happened with MLW, which is pretty important, which is Court Bauer and MLW versus the WWE thing, right? And I was like, I'm reading this, right? And I'm not trying to act like I'm the most ignorant person in the world, but when I'm reading all these lawyers, it made no sense to me. And I was like, let me screenshot something so I can just kind of run this by, and then you could go in, because I know you know more about the stuff than I do. It said the court finds that MLW has not included sufficient facts to plausibly allege a relevant anti-product regarding the proposed market. The complaint is only that there are 4 competitors in the United States professional wrestling market, that the business promoting. You know what? I'm not going to keep reading all this crazy shit. They went against MLW. They kind of dismissed the case, saying it's not a monopoly. It's not a this. It's not a that. That's what I took from it. But to me, it feels like money talks. You know what I mean? That's what this felt to me, that WWE, they're WWE. They're the Mecca, and they got the brains to throw at crazy lawyers.
Yeah. So what that essentially means is that MLW didn't sufficiently, they didn't put enough evidence in pretrial to say WWE is a monopoly. They are the ones, and they are the reason why MLW hasn't succeeded in the past, 5 years. They've also squashed some things behind the scenes with, I think, Tubi TV, which I believe is owned by Fox, which has contracts with WWE. So Court Bauer is basically saying, they've been putting their thumb down where they could just because they can. And the judge came back and said, well, you haven't proven your case enough for me to allow this trial to proceed. But there is a 21-day window that's being granted by the judge to say, go and get us more evidence. If you can find more evidence, then we will proceed with the case, given that the evidence meets the qualifications of the judge to say, hey, this is actually a this, I don't know, evidence is valid, in his mind. I mean, it's very subjective in order for it to proceed. So, there's a bunch of things happening. Right now, I I love that the case has been granted a little bit of an extension of that 21-day extension. It will help, I believe, MLW's case to go and say, look, we had to run to reels to get us on TV, but it also hurts their case because they're going to say, you are claiming that WWE has taken the ability from anyone else to get on TV by using their money and their lawyers and their clout, but you guys got a deal. So how is that going to work? Unless MLW's argument is that, well, we would have had a deal sooner and we would have been able to retain some of our wrestling talent had we had the deal with Tubi or had we had the deal with Vice, because I think they also got pulled from Vice because of the fact that there's some, whoever owns Vice, goes back to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that goes, but 21 days, we'll report back in 3 weeks, right, and see what happens.
Now, I see. This is what I needed to hear because you broke that down perfectly. Now we did also see Court was like, "Yo, we're gonna jump back into this." What is the end game? What do they get if they win? What does MLW really get?
What's called punitive damages. That is, the judge will decide how much money MLW lost from not having those contracts in place, which having reels as in the mix may actually help MLW if the case proceeds. Because if the case proceeds, what would end up happening is the judge would say, this is how much money you're getting now from reels. Let's back date that to when the case was originally filed or when the damage was incurred, and let's make WWE pay that plus the court costs plus the lawyers. When you think about it, when you think about all of that, right, that's a drop in the bucket for a billionaire company, a billion.
Oh yeah,
company.
yeah.
Now they're just trying to make the, and unfortunately they didn't try to make this go away. And I don't know if that was Court's sort of angle to say, I think we have enough behind us that the lawyers will make this just want to go away. Big Vince will say, just make this go away, give them a few $1 million, make them happy. That would have tided them over until the Reels deal came in, right? But I think WWE and their lawyers called their bluff and was like, nah, man, that ain't happening. We're not just going to go and throw a few $1 million at you guys to go away, even though we've done it to multiple women in the past few years.
Got him.
But hey, whatever. Whatever, right? I guess they just didn't feel like they wanted to play the game. I don't know if there's something with Court and the way that he left WWE as a writer. Maybe there's something there that they just haven't gotten over. But Vince doesn't like competition. He really, really doesn't like competition, especially when it is legit wrestling.
Yeah.
And we've said that the reason why we like MLW is because we feel like it's legit. There's, when they can have it, there's storylines. When they can have great wrestling and great wrestlers there, they'll have them. The matches are great. You can tell that they're placed correctly. They are, whoever's the ring general is a ring general, and they're bringing their game and showing it. Look at Davey Richards there. But yeah, anyways, let's get back to the case, right? We'll see in 21 days what ends up happening. In my mind, I think that WWE just tried to call the bluff and it didn't work, which is why the judge is sort of quote unquote dismissing it. But we'll see. Hopefully MLW comes around and finds some sort of evidence that they can produce.
I'm all for it. And I think that I think it's important to show that the little guys can go at the big guys. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a big thing, that just because you're WWE and you're sitting at the top don't mean you're going to walk all over us. And I think this is a big play if it works out for MLW, N.W.A, Impact, places like that, where we're not just going to let the people above us just shit on us.
Yeah, and I think that might have been the reason why WWE's lawyers decided to say, we're not going to play this game. We're not going to give in and just make it go away. Because if we make it go away with MLW, which is, the second, borderline second tier, third tier wrestling company, then who is to say that N.W.A and some of these ROH, before the other billionaire bought it, doesn't come around and say, well, this is the reason we got Impact, this is the reason we are on these crazy hours, crazy day channels, so crazy days, crazy hours on a channel that isn't subscribed to by the same amount of people that Fox and USA Network are subscribed to. But again, I think that's why the lawyers just said, no, we're not going to play this game. We only have 5 women in the past 20 years that have come up and said that Vince sexually harassed them, versus 5 wrestling companies that are still hanging on by a thread. We don't want to spend that many millions.
Yeah, facts. Jesus. It's crazy because that you thought would be such a bigger thing, and Vince has kind of been around. They're supposedly, Vince is back. That's why Steph had left. WWE has its own headaches too. You know what I'm saying? They got their own problems. It is what it is. But I think we took the entire case thing. I think at this point we can say, in court we trust.
In court we trust. I know that we've said that before, and that's the reason why we continue to watch MLW rather than not WWE, because we do trust court's decisions. Sometimes the programming and sometimes the actual program and the booking, it's funny, but we understand that people go in for a cup of coffee and then they leave, and that's just the way it is.
Yep.
But hopefully this Reels deal will turn things around for them, and they'll start gaining more traction. It looks like they are trending multiple times a week on Twitter, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's back-to-back week on Reels, back-to-back weeks they've been trending. I think that Muffins had said last week they went over 100K. This week I think it was 79,000. So, I mean, that's a good start to where you're trying to project going forward. I'm excited for Reels. I like what they're doing. I even if you look on Twitter, and I hate Twitter, but their match graphics look way more official than before. Like, the MLW looks like it's going in the right direction. You gotta have patience with this stuff. It's going to be week to week until this really, a few months down the line, we get a direction of what this is. So I'm all for it. I think we chopped up everything we need to talk about this on this segment. So for myself, AB, we out of here. Deuces.